Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays TCG. Today, we are doing our updated tier list video. I know I'm a little late with this. There's been a whole lot of other creators that have put out their updated tier list, so I'm pretty late with this, but like I said, I've been a little bit away from the office. I've got some time to come back here and start really cranking out some content, and to be honest, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play too many games, so I wanted to make sure I had enough games played before I had a chance to make this list, so I can at least give more of my, personal opinions on it. Now, of course, with all of this, we haven't had any big major events. We've had some locals, we've had some online tournaments, we've seen a lot of really cool things from this set. Full disclosure, I think this set is just fantastic. There are so many viable decks, so many viable colors. Like, every color has a good deck to play right now, and I feel like that hasn't really happened in this game yet. So, I'm really excited to get into this. And once again, these are going to be my personal opinions. Like I said, though, we don't have any huge major regionals or big events to go off of, really. So, really, all these lists, my list and other content creator lists, are going to be just our opinions, so don't flame us in the comments if you disagree, but let us know why you disagree in the comments. So, before we hop in, we're going to go over the tier list. We have 6 tiers. Starting from the bottom, we have Help Me Please. These are decks that just really need some type of support because, God, they're not doing so hot. Locals or casuals basically just means that, hey, we need, these are fun decks to play. Your locals, if you're just learning the game, these are great decks, but they're not going to do so hot in a big regional event. Next, we have rogue or high roll decks that basically decks you really don't expect to do well, but God, if they can do well, they are doing some crazy things. If they see what they need to see, if they see their play lines, oh my God, are they really, really good. But if they don't, they flame out real bad. Next, we have topping decks, which are deck lists that you can definitely see in the top 16 or top 8 even of any big regional tournament. They're very good. In the right pilot, these lists can also be in tournament winners, or they can even win events, but they're just not as likely to win the events as much as the next tier, which is tournament winners. These decks are easy. You could absolutely see them winning big tournaments. These are the most common leaders you're going to see topping these events. And of course, finally, we have best deck. I won't spoil anything. We'll have to see if we have a deck that does fit into that category. So let's start with the list here. Because we have a lot of leaders. We have 34 leaders now, which is crazy. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on each individual one because that video would be way too long, and I'm trying not to make this crazy long. We're just going to start this off with Daima Vegeta. God help him. This leader is so bad. It needed way better support, and its ability is awful. It needed to... If it's going to bottom deck a 1 cost, you shouldn't have had to pay anything to do that. It should just been a free activate main, bottom deck a 1 cost. That would have been at least better. This leader is just plain old bad. I don't really think there's a whole lot of other leaders that go... I don't think there's any leader that goes in that category. Let's just start with this here. They're all kind of mixed up for the most part. So... I guess all the 5 leaders here from the new set are going to be at the top. Piccolo, I'm going to throw into high roll. I feel like Piccolo is one of those leaders that if you can ramp quick enough, if you can get to 8 energy and you can just start spamming your opponent, I think... because, I think he's low end of high roll, top end of casual. He is a very dangerous deck when he gets to 8 energy, but he just doesn't ramp as good as other green lists, so that's kind of hard for him to be put any higher than this, but I have seen people pilot Piccolo to success, and it's kind of scary. I've been on the receiving end of a Piccolo beating. It's real bad, or it makes you feel real bad. But because he is a slower base deck, a lot of more aggressive builds can easily beat him, so... definitely a low end of high roll. Vegito, I'm putting Vegito in topping decks. As your resident blue player, I love playing blue decks. Vegito is a really fun leader, but god damn, is he so heavily RNG based that you can do really cool things with it. But oh my god, if you mill the wrong cards or don't see the cards when you need to, it just ends badly. Now, why he's not lower than this is because blue in just general is a very good color right now. So even with all that, blue has access to a lot of great pieces that allow them to recur cards from the discard pile. Pilaf, obviously, the new Vegeta grabbing 3 cost, exactly 3 cost. The Vegito that can play it, grab a Vegito from the discard. There are good cards in blue that make this deck better, but oh my god, if you mill the wrong cards, like you mill your super combos, game over. That's my biggest flaw with this deck, is that you mill your super combos, you're done. Sure, you run technically 8 because you run 4 copies of Savior of the World, but even with that, you have to have 20 cards or less. Sorry, 20 cards or more in the discard pile, which means you're going to be waiting later to play that. Plus, you don't want to mill those too. God forbid you mill most of your super combos and most of your Saviors of the World, you're done. But the fact that Vegito can just build a very demanding board and swing 40k, swing 40k every turn with his leader swing is incredibly dangerous. So I still think Vegito is a good blue deck, but it is just not as good as another blue deck later on in this video. Very aggressive though. SS Daima Goku, I'm going to throw into topping decks. Red Daima is very, very good. The deck is incredibly consistent because it has a lot of its best pieces are 4 cost or less, which the 1-drop Neva, which searches the top 5, I believe, it can grab pretty much any of your important pieces, your Glorios, your Pansies, your free play, power boosters. It's a very, very good consistent leader, and with it being with the 10k boost onto Gloria, that is essentially your game-ending win. Now, the problem with this deck, though, is that you do have to play mostly Daima cards because the deck synergizes better with Daima specifically than just like your standard red board, because you have to, I'm pretty sure this leader does specify you need to boost, choose up cards with Daima. So it can only boost up a Daima card. It's still a very, very good deck. Very aggressive. That's why I do believe that it still is in the top tier of, it's one of the better decks in the meta for sure. Not the best red deck, but definitely one of the best. Namek Goku. Oh, man. Namek Goku is also in top tier. I actually think, he's better than Daima Goku, I think, but these could be interchangeable. But basically, Namek Goku is incredibly powerful if you sequence things right. When you see your Pot of Greeds, which is your Dr. Brief spaceship, essentially your pay 1, draw 2. It's your Pot of Greed. You see the cards you need in order to consistently take your own life while doing damage to your opponent, like the promo Goku, the 3-cost Goku that also swings 35k but takes a life. You need to be able to sequence it correctly, but once you do, this deck is incredibly dangerous. I just used it to win my last week's locals, which was very, very fun. The deck is awesome. Being able to play your 45k double striker that you can make a 65k critical attacker, which is just insane. The deck just has a lot of really aggressive cards. The problem is it does lack a little bit of defensive, because once you awaken, you don't draw when attacking anymore. So you have to kind of get all of get the biggest hand you can before you awaken, and then primarily focus on your Pot of Greeds. And then, of course, taking that 1 life every turn, going from 3 life to 2, because during your next turn, you want to be at 2 life in order to get the most out of your cards. So once that happens, though, you use your Pot of Greeds, which are limited to 4. You can't recycle them, which is good. You then just have to rely on those and just kind of control the board while also inflicting a lot of damage. There's some really cool tech pieces you can do with this deck, but overall, I do think it is one of the best decks in the meta right now. And with a proper pilot, you can absolutely see this deck doing incredibly well. Janemba. Oh, see, my previous video, a lot of content creators and we put Janemba's best deck in format. I am ready to admit that was probably premature. I still think this deck is absolutely one of the best decks in the format, but I would not say it is best. The problem with this leader is that there are, so many different ways you can pilot it, so many different ways you can build it, that there's really, I don't know if there's really a de facto best build for this. It really just kind of depends on the locals and kind of depends on the meta you're bringing into. Depending on what deck is best, you might want to adjust this deck build to properly contend against that particular deck, or like, you know, what types of decks are in the format. But that means it could also do really bad against another deck that it didn't properly tech for. So, oh man, I do think it is one of the best decks, though. I can make the argument that it's been tournament winners or topping decks for sure. It's very, very good. There's so many fun builds. I have a build that Cody showed me that I've had a lot of fun playing, but one mistake and you could lose it all. So this might change, though. This might move around. Gogeta. Gogeta, I think, is just really, really good. I think he is he's a great generic black leader, for sure, 100%. But he just doesn't do things as good as the other best, one of the other best black decks, if not the best black deck. So, there's never really a whole bunch to say. It's just, you can do some really, really cool things. You can draw a crap ton, but it doesn't really do anything else better besides that. So, is there not much I can say? I haven't played this leader personally, and I haven't got a whole lot of practice, but from what I've seen it do in other tournaments and other locals and other content creators, I think this deck is very, very good. Just out of the 5 new decks, I think he's probably like the least good. So yeah, those are the 5 new leaders from set 5. That the order may change as the list goes on. Let's keep going on with Green Vegeta. I think Green Vegeta is just casuals at this point. It's a cool deck. I've played against it quite a few times. It's very interesting. It can do some really cool things, but it didn't get any support. So, in the new set. So I just don't see it being very likely to do well. If it gets in another card or two, yeah, I could see this being much higher. But for now, I think casuals is fine. Oh, Super Boo. Oh my god. Just throw him up here. Super Boo, I didn't expect this. Super Boo was one of the best decks in set 4. And it really didn't get any direct support. Maybe like one card that's actual direct support. But besides that, it just got generic good stuff. And because of that, this deck just popped off. 100%. This leader is just ridiculous. It's got hand control. It's got the ability to freeze things. It's got incredible aggression. It's got free play. This leader is just... You can make the argument between Janemba and Super Boo, and I know people have been talking about that in their tier lists. Super Boo could be best deck in format. Like, no lie. This deck is just kind of insane. I cannot believe that. I wasn't expecting this, honestly. I knew this was going to be a good deck, but I did not anticipate it being this good. It's gross. There are things, though, that shut it down. Funny enough, my buddy playing Daimagoku had 3 Tamagamis on board, and it shut this deck down. Like, it could not do anything. It was so funny. But, this leader is absolutely disgusting. Like I said, it just does so much. It does it, I think, a little bit better than Janemba. But it is more archetype structured. So... it is more focused on the archetype, but the archetype is good, so can't really complain. Black Baby, we're just throwing him up here. Baby is just ridiculous. Any deck that kind of fundamentally breaks the rules of the game is obviously going to be amazing. Baby being able to combo cards are in rest mode, so you can swing with them, as well as defensively combo with them, is just gross. This deck can also draw a crap ton of cards. It's got some amazing aggro potential. Yeah, it's just the best black deck. Really can't say too much about it. Bardock is good, but oh, what the heck? No. Oh no, don't tell me that. Don't go back. There you go. Holy crap, what the heck was that? My antivirus support needs to be updated. Where was I? Bardock. Bardock is good, but like, I wouldn't say he's like gonna be topping any events. I think Bardock is solid. 25k swing is always going to be good, but the problem is that's just kind of it. Like, Bardock really didn't get a whole lot of support besides one card. I think he's good. What the frick? Oh my god, ads. Holy crap, stop. Advertisements. I'm trying to do a video here. What is up with this tier maker? I'm sorry, guys. What the hell? Bardock, I don't know. I just think he's good, but I just don't see him being like tournament competitive. Maybe I could have put another tier in here being like, you know, good decks, but not like winning events, but I don't know. Too late for that now. Bardock's going in locals. GT Goku, I'm going to throw up in topping decks. I do believe this leader is still great. He didn't really get a lot of direct support, but the support Black got in general is just very, very good. It has a lot of really cool play lines. It's very aggressive. You could probably make the argument that it is better than than Gogeta, but we'll have to find out. But I'm up there. I think he's really solid. Jiren, we're also gonna throw up here. Jiren's dumb. Jiren is still very, very powerful. Into the yellow matchup, nah, Jiren's cooked. But overall, I think still in most matchups, he is very, very dangerous. Against green, against other red decks for the most part. Black, I still think he is very, very solid. Yeah, I think that it is a great leader still, regardless. Just very, very tanky. You get the right pilot, you can do some really, really aggressive things. I don't know if he's like better than Daima Goku. We'll maybe move that around. Trunks. If you saw my previous video, Trunks is really, really good. You know what? All right, we're doing this. Screw it. Oh wait, hold on. No, I didn't mean to change that. Add a row below. Oh, did I? Oh no. Oh no, I messed up the list. Don't at me. Okay. Okay. We're doing this. Trunks is in the new tier. Good, but not great. These are lists that I think are incredibly good decks, pilot in the right hands, but is going to have a problem in the overall like top end of the meta. Trunks is a very, very good. Or do I even want to do that? Hold on. No, I don't want to do that. Delete that route. No, we're doing this. Trunks, I'm putting my faith in Trunks. Trunks is good. It is very good. Trunks is, in the right hands, this deck is very, very good with board control. Blue just has a lot of really awesome pieces. I think that overall, the things that Trunks can do. If you look at my previous video watching Jameed's gameplay with his updated Trunks build, this list and this deck can very easily control board presence. Now, the problem is a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, Trunks can't deal with 4-cost bodies. You're right. With him and Mai, they can. Or you have things like the new, with the Diamond of Vegeta that was released last set, that can lower something down by 2. So with that, Trunks does have a bit more tempo. At least better board control. As well as the fact that Trunks absolutely abuses peel-off more than any other blue deck. Combined with all these things, I think that Trunks is a very, very good deck. Very powerful in the right hands. Now, it is very big-brained. I will always say this about Trunks. Blue Trunks is big-brained. But I do believe it has the potential to do some really, really cool things. Androids, obviously, it's up. We all know, Androids is stupid. It needs a hit of some kind. It's been the best green deck since set 2. It didn't need any support, and it still got support, and it's gotten indirect support over the last couple sets. Green is just very, very good. It ramps the quickest. It does the best late game almost of any deck. It's gross. It's very gross. Cell we're throwing in high roll because a Cell player that can get the proper sequencing, it's just gonna be gross. It's gonna be regaining life, destroying the board. It's gonna be good. But if you don't see your pieces in the right order, or if your Cell Games Arena gets wiped out by a Zeno or some other card, you're gonna have a bad time. But if you see your pieces, it's good stuff. Let's throw Deadku High School or Dragon Ball Evolution up in tournament winners. Deck is still good. It really didn't get any support in this set, but it is still incredibly powerful. It's consistent. You're always seeing the pieces you need because you're looking through your deck so quickly. You're recurring your pieces. Deck is just fantastic. It's awesome. And one of my favorite decks to play. Goku Black, of course, king of high roll. It got a new piece that helps its consistency. Oh, the new 3-cost 30k, possible 30k Goku Black. It's awesome. It's a really fun deck, but God, if you don't see the things you need, or you don't awaken at the right time, or you don't see your way to play your 6-cost on turn 4, you're done. It's a bad time, but really, really fun deck. I still love it. When it works, it works. Beerus is still very, very... Let's hear me out. Beerus is still a very, very good red control deck. Probably the best red control deck, but crit leaders are going to be having just a bad disadvantage. Like, they are going to have a bad disadvantage against most decks now because not being able to draw on your front side really puts you behind in the game. And like, late game Beerus is disgusting, but with a lot of crazy aggressive decks that... Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna throw Beerus up in Rogue. So, why is in Rogue? Against certain matchups, this deck will go crazy. I think against Deadku, this would be really bad because all of Deadku's pieces are real little, and Beerus just has a way to get rid of them easy with its leader ability and other cards. It's gross. Any low to the ground deck, Beerus is going to have a fun time getting rid of, but for the most part, it's just a very slow early game deck. And by the time it awakens, it probably is a little too late for a lot of more aggressive builds. Blue's also its worst matchup, so I think it's good in the right matchup. Beerus is really, really good, but I just don't see it doing that well. Let's throw U7 Goku into topping list. In a top 16, I can see this deck doing well. I think that... Oh man, this is gonna be fun. I can't wait to read the comments. Oh my god. Stop. I've never had this many advertisements on here before. What the hell? I'm sorry, guys. U7 Goku got some really cool pieces in this new set. It's got like 3 sets worth of cards to work with. Any U7 card is just gonna be good in this deck. It can be incredibly aggressive. But if the board is wiped, this deck can just, now I kind of feel like I need that other tier list. God dang it. All right, hold on. Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. They can hang. Just gonna throw. Yeah, we're gonna throw those in it. I like that. They can hang. These are decks that are just, they're good, but not amazing. They're so close to getting good. They're so close to getting, like, you know, proper meta, you know, contender. They're just missing like 1 or 2 cards. Or in the right matchup, they are good. But yeah, U7, like, it can be really, really aggressive. The TN combo is gross, but if you can control their board, it's just game over. So, yeah, I like this tier. They can hang. U7. Oh, wait. Oh, what the hell? Swap places with Bardock. Look at that. U7 Goku is pretty dang good from what I've seen. Can't really say I've seen a whole lot of I know this deck is like praised by the community that it's good, and I actually got my ass handed to me by one yesterday. But I personally don't have a whole lot of experience with this leader, so this is why I'm a little like torn. I've heard it's really, really good, but like, I don't know. Maybe it can just go into they can hang tier. Sorry, this is one I'm not comfortable with putting because I just don't know. I personally don't have a whole lot of experience with this leader, so I'll admit it. So we're just going to move on to Boo. We're just going to throw Boo into locals. I love this leader. It's really a fun ability, but it got really no good direct support, and it just can't hang. It just can't hang with these guys. Cooler. I'm going to throw him in. He can hang. Cooler got indirect support, like just like Frieza Clan and cards that can free play other cards. The Meta Cooler and Frieza Clan stuff is now actually starting to shape up to be pretty good. So, yeah, I think Cooler can do well. I definitely say he's at the bottom of this tier, or top end of casuals, but I can see this deck doing pretty well. It's one of the few crit leaders that I think can do decent because its backside ability and just like the overall support Yellow got can overcome that. Gohan, just gonna throw him in locals. God, such a disappointment. I love Ultimate Gohan, but God, this deck just, it felt like a prototype for Vegito and got no support. Really upsetting. Daima Goku, we're just gonna throw up in here. It's good. Daima Goku is fantastic. It's just red control, and I think he does that better than Beerus, because he can buff something as well as lower the cost, lower the power of something else, and it just works with a lot of Red's best cards. You play this list differently. You don't play it a heavily Daima build, you play Red good stuff. And Red good stuff is fantastic. So yeah, absolutely Red Goku, Red starter, Daima Goku goes there. Broly, throwing him into Rogue. So hear me out. Broly, I've seen him actually do some really cool things in a Tarmo Tim's tournament. Broly did decent. It got a lot of really cool indirect support, going to, you know, low end energy, low end life, and then just being able to recover your life with cards like, you know, the 5-cost card that goes from 1 life to 3 life. It's an extra card, can't remember its name. But yeah, it's really, really cool. And just a 25k leader on attack and defense is always going to be good. The problem is it does have a bad matchup into other leaders that can easily swing over 25, or cards that can play a lot of cards that swing 25 or more. That's why I throw it into Rogue, because in the right matchup, it can do really, really well. But most of the time, it's not going to do as good. But I do see Broly being a decent competitor. Ginyu is... I'm going to throw Ginyu into top decks. I think there's some really gross things that Ginyu can do, but it all comes down to, like, board control. because a lot of Ginyu's best pieces are 3 costs or less, which is fodder, easy fodder for blue decks. Red decks can minus stuff down pretty low. It's a very aggressive deck. And I think in this meta where a lot of aggressive decks can thrive a lot better, it's good. It's definitely on the low end, though. But it's really cool. Starter Goku, locals, it just doesn't do as well as a Daima starter. Frieza's really good. I think Frieza is very, very powerful. It's got a lot of good new Frieza army support, so easily I can put it up higher. Combining this with the new Frieza SCR is gross because you just swing with it, tap the 2 to KO something, restand it with your leader ability. Your opponent will never touch it. Combine that with a Majin Buu. Any card with barrier in this deck is disgusting. Easily, I can say is one of the best decks in the meta. Vegeta, I would say, is better than Vegito because of his consistency. You could really just probably swap either of these around, but I think Vegeta is better because, yeah, you have to abide by the 7 cards or less in hand requirement, but swing of 35 is very, very good still. Your opponent's going to have to drop a super combo or 2 10Ks to get out of it. And you don't have to worry about your deck running out like you do with Vegito. But for the most part, Vegeta can run a lot of the same cards and do incredibly well. So I'd say Vegeta is still one of the best decks, definitely above. But you could make the argument for above Vegito, but really you could just either one of these. You make the argument. Gohan, I would put him locals just because Green has a lot of really good stuff. There's a chance there's an argument you can even put him in Help Me Please, but just not doing as good. Same thing with Topku, just it hasn't gotten really any great support, and the bans really hurt it. Zamasu! I love Zamasu. It's so good in this set. 100%. It's a slow game. It's a slow game. You need to see the right pieces. I was playing it last night after not touching it for a while, and I made a bad mistake where I forgot that I had to pay an energy to use his ability, and I tapped out, and I didn't regain a life, and I just lost. So, but the leader has so many great things. Being with a new 4-cost Zamasu that buffs your leader by 5k for a whole turn. So now your leader's a 30k body. Gross. Disgusting. You have the Goten Trunks draw engine to help get rid of its having it no ability to draw. Really, really good. It is still a little bad in the early game because aggressive decks can hurt it. But if you can stabilize and keep that engine going, oh my god, this leader is fantastic. And finally, Yellow Vegeta. I definitely want to put Yellow Vegeta up here. I think Yellow Vegeta is fantastic. He is the opposite of Frieza, where he just restands 2 energy at the end of turn instead of 2 bodies. But, you know, defensively, that card, that's still really good. It's solid. Yellow, just in general, has a lot of amazing cards. So I feel like most Yellow leaders are in a really, really good spot right now. Beyond that, I mean, I got really not much else to talk about. Now, let's just kind of go over this real quick here. Is there anything I want to change? Maybe putting Ginyu down in the tier of they can hang instead, like top tier they can hang. Oh, man. You know, I hate putting a best deck in format, but, like, I really do think Super Buu has the potential. If he's not best deck in format, he's definitely, like, up here in tournament winners, but he's solid. He's really, really good. I'm trying to think of, like, what bad matchups affect him. Like, other yellow decks are really gonna hurt him. But, like, he can KO his own stuff, so, like, it doesn't matter if it's frozen, because he just will KO it just to get an ability off. I don't know. I think I'm okay with this. You know, yeah, screw it. I'm gonna say I'm okay with this list. This is my tier list prediction after seeing some more matches, playing the set 5 a lot more, and yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. It's 35 minutes long. Let's end this. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I know I'm probably gonna get a multitude of comments down below, and I cannot wait to read them. You know, hindsight is a bitch. I'm probably gonna look at this like a couple days later and be like, why did I put that there? But you know, I'm just gonna let it hang. Let's just see what this list does for the community. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Actually, I do see someone's put Bardock above Gohan. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe on the way out if you did enjoy the content. If you do like content like this, please hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 2,500 subs, and I appreciate any and all support you guys are willing to give. Until the next video, take care.